Anyway, but you know, thought we'd give a courtesy ask.
Well, they can turn off their picture if they don't want to.
All right. Exactly. You're like, "Oh, we don't want people to see my hideous face." Just kidding. Well, welcome everybody. I'm very excited to be back. I've been gone a couple months. I've got this light right in front of me so that you guys can move. Can't really move. It's still here, but that's okay. I'm Jenna. Most of y'all know me, but if you don't, I am the, wow, it's been so long, I'm blanking on what my title is, but that's okay. Communications Director. Thank you. It's a bit ironic that I can't remember the communications part.
That's right.
But that's okay. Anyway, very excited to have our guest tonight. Her name is Lilia, and she is part of California CAYIMBY, who we work with very closely with. And she's going to be giving us a lot of updates about herself and what California CAYIMBY is going to be doing. So please, Lilia, when you're ready, take over. Give a big hand for Lilia.
Hello everyone. My name is Lilia Malfavon. I have actually only been working at California CAYIMBY for about a year, but I am the distributed organizing manager there. I'm going to give you guys a brief introduction of like my career and how I ended up here. I started with working at Move On back in 2020. I worked on the Joe Biden presidential campaign. I worked on everything social media for them. So I worked on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, etc., all of those things. And I wrote a lot of emails, and that took me on to work at change.org. If you guys have ever signed one of those petitions and now you get endless petitions, I was in charge of their email program over there. So I would send out the emails, curate the emails, make sure that it like the right content was going to the right audience, all of those things. And we actually got a lot of housing petitions even back at change.org. You had like a range of things. You had some Dunkin' Donuts petitions, but you had some housing crisis petitions. You had like everything there, everything in between. And honestly, from there, I was very interested in those housing petitions, and I would try to like staff them with campaigners. And it's just an issue that's very near and dear to me, especially because I am in California, and I remember like going. My personal housing story is that like first generation college student. I went to college. I couldn't afford to stay in Los Angeles. As soon as like my like college years ended, I immediately had to move back home in Bakersfield, which is where I grew up. And I had gone to school at UCLA. I couldn't stay in Los Angeles. Immediately had to move back in with my parents with my bachelor's degree, but not much else because I just could not stay in a place where there were more opportunities. So I stayed there, worked in the planning department, got a little bit more experience, ended up going through my jobs and everything I just mentioned, and eventually moved back to Los Angeles, which is where I am right now, and currently the distributed organizing manager for California CAYIMBY. So that is my story. But I have like a small PowerPoint, not that many slides that I will share with you guys. I'm going to talk a little bit about what California CAYIMBY's mission is, what the organizing team does there, and how we work together with partner organizations like Fremont for Everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share screen so I can show you guys that PowerPoint. Okay, can everyone see that? I think. Okay, great.
Sure can.
Okay, so California is for everyone. California CAYIMBY really cares about bringing affordable housing to the rest of the state. This is a little bit about us. This is a little bit about our mission. It's to make California a place where everyone can live, no matter what their background is, no matter where they come from. Everyone should be able to be housed in California. And we see it as a place, we see housing as like a very fundamental step to reaching your potential, whether that be your career, whether that be your family goals, everything else. We really do have a housing shortage in California, which I know you are all aware of since you are a part of Fremont for Everyone. And it comes from all of California. You have it in Northern California, you have it in places like Los Angeles, where I currently am now. And people are unhoused. People don't have rents. I mean, I recently just had to move out of my apartment because I could not afford it anymore. So I moved last month from one apartment to the next because there's a rise in costs every year. So this is just the issues that are coming at us, and we're trying to move towards having a moment of housing abundance, which is what California YIMBY really cares about. Let me move into the next one. Again, something that you guys, I'm sure, know is that we have a housing crisis, which is what we need to build is about 3.5 million homes in order to house everyone by 2025. That is supposed to be the pace at which we're going, but unfortunately we are not. As you can see, we built around 175,000 homes back in 2003, and we've been declining ever since, even though we have had a little bit of a rise, but nothing compared to like early 2000s. So we need about 180,000 more to keep up with population growth. So the way California YIMBY mainly does this is that we really invest in statewide legislation. So we work with different senators, different assembly members. Our legislative team is up there working with them on getting some bills, sponsoring them, supporting legislation. That's the bread and butter of California YIMBY. We also have other programs like our Metropolitan Abundance Program, which is just basically focuses on research, as well as our policy framework, which again is more of a research focus. We have more of a research branch, but a lot of our greatest impact comes from this legislation that we bring together every year. We have different housing packets where we really focus on like making those tiny changes in legislation so that more houses can get built, so that more people are able to, have like ADUs or anything simple like that, but that actually really makes a difference in our housing market here in California. And our main focus is our 3P strategy, which is preservation of existing housing, protection of tenants, and production of new housing. That is basically what our legislation focuses on. And in order to build more homes, we basically have to remove barriers and exclusionary communities. We have to streamline home building in communities, and we expand access to opportunities for all. So we really are trying to go against the NIMBYism in California so that we can actually have less segregation in our communities, have more diversity in our communities, have more building in our communities, all of those things. And this is another picture of me, but this is the organizing team at California YIMBY is composed of two people, Constantine Hatcher, which I'm sure you all have either know about or maybe have known about. He's our Senior Director of Community Impact, and he's my supervisor as a distributor organizing manager. Aaron Eckhouse, who you all have met, used to be part of our organizing team. He now moved on to our policy team, so he now works mostly in policy. So now it's just comprised of both Constantine and I heading our entire organizing program. And the way that California YIMBY's organizing program works is that we have a distributed organizing model. So a lot of people, when they think about organizing, they think about on the ground. They think about like going and like creating your own group, well, which is what like Fremont for Everyone is, right? You have more of a people going, volunteers coming forth, and everything happens on a very local level. With a distributed organizing model, California YIMBY has partner organizations like Fremont for Everyone, along with about 30 something other partner organizations that we also keep connection with. And so I bring information, updates, legislation updates, et cetera, over to different partner organizations, as well as partner organizations will come to us and be like, hey, this is happening at our local level with our volunteers. What can you guys do about this in regards to policy? So it's kind of like a feedback loop between partner organizations, but we don't usually go on the ground and try to get more volunteers or anything like that. We mostly work through our partner organizations. Another thing California YIMBY's organizing team does is a lot of our events. So right now I'm working on the huge Lobby Day event. If you have RSVP'd for Lobby Day, you have now received around 200 emails from me because it is an extensive process. So I technically work on making sure that participation is up for these events. I do a lot of outreach for all of the events listed here, Lobby Day being our biggest one. The picture you see in the background is about 96 people that RSVP'd for last year's Lobby Day. And this is our picture at the Capitol. And it's a very huge endeavor to get everyone out there and focused on one specific goal. But it is entirely worth it. It is so fun. Hopefully you guys can join us. And then we have something called Summer Lobby Blitz, which is where a partner organization like Fremont for Everyone will then do a second meeting with their senator and assembly member and meet up with them and talk about the bills again sometime around August or July. So we do lobby day in April, and then we can do summer lobby blitz in the summer around July and August, so that we give like a second tap to legislators and let them know about the legislation and try to move it forward. Then we have our last event of the year is usually town halls, which we have every year. We usually have one in Los Angeles, one in San Francisco Bay Area, and we try to have one in San Diego. So more for like coastal. So these are more so that we get feedback, so that we know what type of policy changes we should be looking at. Again, trying to get feedback from leaders like people in Fremont for Everyone. I'm pretty sure Lisa joined our last one. And just trying to get feedback on our policy frameworks and everything. So moving forward, our policy is guided by all of these local partner organizations and not just California YIMBY. Again, we try to really come in for feedback from our partners to try to make everything, all our policy work for most of California if possible, or at least even for some parts of California. We're trying to move everything forward at the state level. What California YIMBY offers to our partners, so like Fremont for Everyone, San Diego YIMBY Democrats, East Bay for Everyone, South Bay YIMBY, all of those partner organizations, is that we offer intel and strategic planning. So we do a lot of partner strategy sessions where once a month, someone from your team comes and we talk about our latest updates in legislation. We talk about sensitive topics about like why we think something might not be moving, and we let leaders from each organization have more input on how they want to move it forward and all of those things. They have access to help shape the California YIMBY policy agenda, which is what I talked about with town halls. We're always looking for feedback to see that we move forward in a way that all the partner organizations think is beneficial for the state of California. And we provide messaging around specific statewide legislation and policy, something that we like. If you, for example, have issues in Fremont for Everyone and you guys want to have maybe some coaching or something on how to give messaging out, that's something we provide. As well as if there's actually maybe policies or something specific to Fremont for Everyone that you guys need policy help with, we also offer our policy team to you guys as well, basically. And that's to talk a little bit more about that, the organizing, coaching, and local capacity building. That's something that Constantine and I work on, is we try to do a partner check-in once a year with our partners. And if this organization were to want more organizing, coaching, or something like that, that's something we offer. Something else we offer is access to our entire team. So our legislative team, our policy team, if you guys want someone to come in from one of those teams and talk specifically about how Fremont for Everyone can like work through a legislative plan or like even a social media plan or something like that. We have our digital team. Everyone on our team is basically at your disposal. Like we want to be able to bring our expertise over to you guys, and you guys can use everyone on our team to better Fremont for Everyone. We also have joint fundraising opportunities. I'm not gonna lie, I've only been here for a year, but I know that one of the things that we're working on is with Napa Solano for Everyone. I know they're running a fundraising event, so we usually pitch into those events as well to make sure that they can move forward. So I'll give a little bit more on that. We also offer communication support. So we have our communications team run by Matthew Lewis over at California YIMBY. So if you guys are working on getting quotes placed in local media or anything around, getting what are those called? Letter to the editor, anything like that shared with the local media, that's something we can help you guys work around. Swag, I don't like that term, but anyway, we have like merch sometimes at our events, so like t-shirts, fun things, all of that's included. And financial support for fees and organizing spaces. This is something I always talk about because I mean, I know that if I started an organization, this is something I would really be interested in, which is if you guys want to run an event and you guys need like a couple $100 for we want to have food and do an event to do this specific thing. That's something California YIMBY can help with. We can offer some financial support depending on like the level. We would try to work with you guys, but even something as simple as like we just want to do a meeting at this one place and we need money for like food and snacks. Great, we can probably give you guys that, like as long as you contact Constantine or myself, and I can contact Constantine, and we can try to give financial support for all of those things. And yeah, that is basically a lot of the partner tools and benefits. I didn't cover all of them. These were just our offline type of events. We also have like a lot of online resources like Action Network and a lot of other things like Slack. But I could share the whole partner agreement with you all so that you guys can have that and be able to see what type of resources we can provide to everyone here. But yeah, that's basically what California YIMBY works on. I know that we're going to talk a little bit of the 2024 legislative packet for California YIMBY today. So I think that's the next thing on the agenda. So Lisa, I think that might be on to you.
Sure. Oh, hold on a second.
Okay, yeah.
Before we get to Lisa, we're gonna do a Q&A with you, Lilia, if that's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent. First off, we're gonna talk about our anti-water campaign. Just kidding.
That was a private conversation.
It's an inside joke. You're not yet. But who's first?
Yes.
Dave, okay.
Wonderful presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Lilia.
Because you're based in LA, I was just curious if you know Leonora Kamner and Abundant Housing LA and what work you do. I would think that they're a partner organization because they seem like a great model for how to be at the grassroots and be a real policy driver in Southern California.
Did you say Leora or are you talking about AHLA?
Leonora Kamner, yeah. Abundant Housing LA, the executive director.
Yes.
She's on the Santa Monica Planning Commission, and I worked with her working with the equivalent of the Metropolitan Commission down there on regional housing distribution because there's some allocations that didn't follow state law. So I was able to partner with her on that. That was really exciting.
That's awesome. Yeah, we definitely have AHLA as one of our partners. I know Leonora, I've been sending her emails and I think she stepped down from AHLA as an executive director, but we did definitely work with her. We're currently working with AHLA. They're helping us actually get people from Los Angeles to go to Lobby Day. So we work very closely with AHLA. It's a great organization and we definitely work with them. So I mean, I'm in Los Angeles, so I definitely see them pretty often nowadays. But yes,
you're talking about how to organize other groups. I think that they are a great model for other groups that are starting at grassroots. I mean, we have a lot of policy chops here in Fremont, but it'd be really nice to aspire to something more like what they're doing in LA. So that's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely do a lot of on the ground. I know one of the organizers there is Cynthia Clemens, who will be at our Lobby Day event. And she is so great about like going personally to like, like making events, local events at like, Sherman Oaks or at Los Feliz, or like different locations. So they do a great on the ground work. So yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Excellent. Anybody else?
Online?
Yeah, is there anybody online that has a question?
Me.
Oh, Linda?
So did you already, I missed a little bit of the beginning of it. Did you already say that you've already got all the people you need to go to the YIMBY Day?
I mean, right now we definitely have a big enough cohort that we've scheduled the meetings for Fremont for everyone. But if you want to sign up, I think this Thursday, Friday would be like the last days probably to try to get there as soon as because we've been extending the RSVP deadline little by little. But yeah, if you guys want to go to Lobby Day, please RSVP by either today or tomorrow so that we can have a good head count of everyone going and all of those things. But Fremont for Everyone's meetings are definitely scheduled to go. So if you guys are in the area, I know Lisa's going, I know Jenna's going. So yeah, please RSVP. I don't know if you guys need the link, but I could definitely drop it somewhere.
Yeah, I just want to say, I went last year and it was fantastic. I can't go this year because I have a job conflict. But if anybody who's online or anybody there, if you can go, it's so great. It was one of the, I was so energized just by being there and getting an opportunity to talk to people and not only talking to the our representatives, but talking to the other people in the YIMBY group. That was fantastic.
Yes.
So that was super great. So I don't get to go this year, but maybe next year.
Thank you so much, Linda. I'm so glad you really enjoyed your time. Yeah, hopefully you get to join us then next year at 2025. We're trying to get it bigger and bigger every year, so would really love you to come. But yeah, thank you so much for that endorsement of Lobby Day.
Linda, did you say you had a dog conflict?
A dog, no job conflict. I have a work conflict. Sorry, no, yeah, no, I have a work conflict. So
okay.
I just want to add something else. It was very interesting. I think Linda touched upon it. My recollection is the demographics are really interesting. And maybe I just remember more of a striated cross section. But you had obviously a lot of Gen Xers and very young millennials, Gen Yers, and then you had people like Linda and me, the aging baby boomers, and there was a missing middle in terms of the families that are probably raising kids. They may already have housing security, but it's those of us that know what the struggle is for our children or grandchildren, and then those that are suffering from it that seem to form an interesting kind of generational, cross-generational cohesion. So I don't know if that's your experience, Lilia, but that seemed to be what I felt when I went to the lobby day there.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, we're trying to like really increase diversity also in the movement. That was one of the main things that we worked on for this lobby day, that we were really trying to get people, more women, more people of color to come and join us. I know for a fact that we are getting a little bit of more younger people because we we basically worked with with Zenon, who's in UC Santa Cruz currently. He's a student there, and he got a student cohort for like, I think 4 different universities to go. So we have a lot of different younger people too. And yeah, we're trying to get a diversity of movements, diversity of ages, diversity of everything. We're really trying to make this really represent California, which is a very diverse state.
Good.
And yeah, I see from Catherine, people with disabilities. Yeah, we really want to make this event as accessible as possible, which is something we're working on. And it's a struggle because this is traditionally been such a white male movement.
Really?
But we're trying to move there.
Interesting.
We're the youth, Dave. You know,
It's okay.
Anybody else?
There's a couple of questions in the chat from
Oh,
Catherine.
there's a couple questions in the chat. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I see that. I see your question, Catherine. I'm trying to think. I know that one of the things that I can offer for sure is that in Summer Lobby Blitz, since it's local, that's something that sometimes becomes like a Zoom call. I can talk with Constantine about maybe including maybe like a Zoom computer. Usually you don't want to have that at legislator's office, but I feel like maybe that would be a good move. I can definitely get back to you about that because I think that would actually be really, really helpful, actually. I will run that by Constantine for sure on my Monday meeting. Thank you for bringing that up.
Was there another one in the chat? Nope. Oh, Marie.
I'm not sure if this is a question. So I keep reading about this tsunami of senior citizens are all going to be homeless. And I'm kind of interested in, they have different needs than some of the other people, or is that something that's on the radar of California, YIMBY?
I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not entirely sure if usually what we're trying to work on is legislation that impacts the most amount of people, but I could totally see the benefit of maybe like focusing on certain groups. That's something I can definitely get back to you if I talk to our policy team about it and see if there's anything that we're working on towards that. But that is a very interesting question. I will talk to Ned or Nolan from our policy team and see if I can send a message to Lisa or someone to or maybe even just post it on our Facebook group if I do find something for that.
Yeah, because you can't live in California on Social Security alone.
No.
And a lot of people have nothing.
Yeah.
Or have stuff, but then, you know, they spend it in a spot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, going once.
Can I make a statement?
Yeah, make a statement.
I just want to say, for anyone who doesn't know, Lilia is officially part of Fremont for Everyone as part of our leadership team. So if you see her, like, she's not some random person, she is one of us, she's on the team.
Right.
And so, yeah, I just wanted to share that because why we wanted to bring her on was I hear a lot of who's Lilia? This is Lilia. Lilia.
Lobby day with her?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
You'll
good.
be there for lobby day, right?
Say
Yes, I will definitely be there for lobby.
Great.
hello. All right, good.
One of us. One of
No,
us.
she,
Yeah, she's actually around in the next room.
Yeah, yeah.
A little shy.
She can't be disturbed.
Yeah, just watch me come in from like across the hall.
I was gonna say, me and Lilia hung out at the Christmas party. But no. Okay, so anybody else? Question?
Trying to avoid the sun here.
No. Okay, well, Lilia, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank you all for having me.
Oh, yeah, of course. Lisa, come on out.
okay.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So our next
Like,
thing,
really?
more audible. Our next thing that we're have on our agenda is the state housing legislation. So as Lilia just mentioned, California NIMBY works a lot with state housing legislation that tries to make it basically change the laws of the state to make it more affordable to have housing. And there's a whole, because of the way the legislative calendar works, this is the time that we're really doing a deep dive and figuring out what bills we want to officially support. California NIMBY has a list that they've asked us to support, and our policy team has gone through the list. And you know, shout out to those on the team who have been involved in those email threads or meetings. I'll say Gada, Sandra, David, and Catherine, I think have all been pretty involved with that. Did I miss anybody? I'm sorry if I did.
I don't think so.
So we have a list of 7 bills that we are proposing Fremont for Everyone support that will be sent out to you. Catherine, will that be sent out tonight, or do you have a date when we can send it out for members to vote on? I'm putting you on the spot here.
I'm kind of on the fly, but I'm going to try and get it out tonight. It'll be later though.
That's good.
Okay.
That's good.
So watch your inbox, be ready to vote, because there will be 7 bills in this round, and we'll hopefully come back with another round as well, because there's a lot of housing bills out there, but one of them is timely, so that's why we kind of rushed through a short list to start with. The one that's timely is SB 937, which is a Scott Wiener bill. That one is related to deferring the impact fees that the developers would have to pay when they're trying to build a housing complex, so that they basically don't have to pay the impact fee until they get their certificate of occupancy. Because right now they might have to pay that way in advance in some cities, and that can just make it more expensive to build the housing, and anything that makes it more expensive to build the housing makes it more expensive to live there.
And there's another issue, it's a cash flow issue, because a certificate of occupancy, you're able to sell the lots to be able to pay the impact fees at that time. If you have to front load it right as you're pulling building permits, like which is traditional, that's a real cost advance. So it may be not only about cost efficiencies, but it's really about being able to have the pass through at the right time rather than front load it. So good.
Which would also speed up the building.
Speed up the building, absolutely.
Yes.
Exactly.
I don't have all the numbers memorized, but you'll see the full list shortly. But I can tell you there's 2 in there that are related to transparency of fees. So separate from being able to defer the payment of them, there's also more transparency around that, because there's an existing law that says the cities have to publish information on their websites about what the fees are that they're charging developers, so the developers know what they're getting into and know, you know, what to put on their balance sheet. And apparently a lot of cities have been out of compliance with this and just haven't done it. So one of the bills on there is basically adding an enforcement mechanism that cities have to basically demonstrate that they've done this when they're doing some other report that they already have to do, that I forgot the name.
I was just gonna say, I think Fremont is one of the highest permit fees around. I think,
yes.
And Jenny has and did voted on the last didn't like her and told her, I said, you shouldn't be doing that, because what happens is that they just pass on the fees to the renters. So it's not really a fair deal to increase your permit fees. But yeah, Fremont's one of the highest permit fees.
Is there a requirement what the fees are used for by the city? Do they earmark what the fees are used for? Yeah, it's a general.
No, they're pretty earmarked.
They have to be,
There's
yeah.
a whole list of fees.
Because otherwise it's considered a tax. You got to really show there's a nexus between the fee and some particular, like public safety or, you know, public works. If it's not, then it's considered a tax and has to be voted on by the electorate.
I mean, my understanding is when you build something, right, that's an impact on infrastructure and services. So I think if they help, because you might have to hire another police officer. Now there's more people living.
Yeah, and that's definitely the idea, but Emma makes a good point that like Fremont, in fact, these are higher than other cities, so you know, what's going on with that, so.
Well, they claim, every time they raise them, they're like, we're, you know, other cities are higher, ours aren't where they should be. So, yeah.
Well, anyway, so the state law would at least add some more transparency, so there's one of them that, would add that enforcement mechanism, and there's another one that gives the right to the developer to request an itemized breakdown of what their own fees will be from the city, and the city has to give it to them within 10 days. That 10-day period might change. That sounds like it might be part of what could be negotiated in the bill, but it basically that, you know, the developer doesn't just have to piece through some complicated thing on the website. They have to be able to say, this is actually my fee, and the city will decide. So those are two of them. There's a couple others around making it easier to build affordable condos, because home ownership is one of the priorities of a lot of folks who are, you know, want to have, who have been locked out of the wealth building that you get from home ownership and want to get into that. There's another one about making it more easy to build an ADU on family housing. I think there's a couple others. You'll see the list. Please watch your email for it. So all of you, by being here, are active Fremont for Everyone members, because that's what everybody wants to say is if you participate in the last 6 months, you're an active member. So if you are participating, so you get to vote. We'll be sure to include you in that email as it goes out. And for those of you who don't already have your email address, make sure it's legible on our sign-in sheet so that we can send you your ballot. I think that's it. Are there any questions about that?
The ADU one was brought up. I heard that there's some people are saying that you needed to establish your own like HOA, some homeowner associations, private homeowner associations. So cities were pushing that. I do know anything about that. I mean, that was because they were saying how, because I guess it was in conjunction with the home insurance issue as to who was going to take responsibility for the individual. And since typically the homeowner's insurance didn't allow for a second house to be on property, they don't have established central homeowners association. You know anything about that?
I'm not really caught up on that one. That's not related to the bill, I don't think, because the bill is more about physical limitations of the property, and the cities can't impose too many physical limitations of where the ADU can be placed.
It sounds like, I haven't heard of that, like being passed or in the bill. It sounds like something the insurance company wants.
Yeah, well, I know like State Farm today has canceled over 200,000 homeowners insurance.
Wow. In California?
In California, yeah, like I said, we just cannot handle all these new rules, combinations. And I think it's Tyson, it's not huge, because they weren't really prepared for those extra risks on the property. You know, he was asking their permission to add a bunch of liability to the property.
Jeez.
Yeah, they're also pulling out all over the place because of
flooding
and fires.
Right.
About
Climate change.
This sounds more industries because you can just say floods.
I'm just saying, I just curious.
The homeowner has to, the renter has to have renter's insurance. And then it's handled. But you can't say, don't have a fire.
Renter's insurance is inside of this, not the outside.
Yeah.
And so that's the issue.
Are there any other questions related to the set of bills that we'll be voting whether we want Fremont Fire to support? Okay.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, thank you so much, Lisa. Moving on to a couple quick updates. Catalyze SV, the group that we work with for affordable housing. They're going to be having a meeting next month with their project advocacy.
Next week.
Next week, thank you, yes. Next Wednesday. And it's basically, there's going to be a affordable housing project off of Osgood Road that they are looking to implement, and they want us from Fremont for Everyone to be able to join the meeting and be able to put our input in as well. Yeah. So if you are interested in giving your input on affordable housing over off of Osgood, next Wednesday, 7 p.m. That meeting
6:30.
6:30. I'm just all over the place. My apologies. I'm coming back from a long medical break. So yeah, if you want to put your input on affordable housing, you're more than welcome to join. Also, Belmont tonight is going to be doing affordable housing project, well, a meeting, and they have a lot of opposition. And so they asked us if we were able to call in tonight. The meeting's going to be going on from 7 to 8:30. The Zoom is going to be in the agenda. If you have the agenda, just scroll on down. I think it's bullet point number 6. Yeah, if you could pull it up, that'd be great.
Why don't you put it in the chat?
Yeah, put it in the
Yeah, put it in the chat too.
Yeah, recall. I can do that too.
Sorry, bullet point number 5. Belmont Affordable Housing requested our support. There's the Zoom meeting, blah, blah, blah. More info, you can look about it right there. Keep yourself a little bit more informed, but anytime we can help anybody else around the Bay Area here with affordable housing is going to be great. Again, we should be getting out of here fairly soon, so you can call in.
What's that?
Tell Steph Curry that.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How poignant is that? Never have heroes, right? So yeah, that meeting is going to be going on from 7 to 8:30, and then lastly, for another announcement, we've got the affordable housing bond. That's going to be up for vote, right, in November?
November.
Yeah. And this is more so for the leadership team. We all have people that we were supposed to reach out to see if we can get them to support.
Well, not just leads. People on who are just members have also helped out with reaching out.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, for sure, yeah. If you haven't done that yet, no big deal. Just let's all try to get that cleared out so we can make sure we know who's going to be supporting it and who's not. So, Lisa, you want to? I think it's or who was it? What's the next one on the item? The Centerville. Dave, can you talk about that, or are you still
sure?
Okay, come on up.
Okay, I'm happy to talk about it.
We definitely want to hear an update about the Centerville Station Apartments.
Good.
Thank you. Oh, you okay there? Sleeps. We'll wake up, Foot.
Wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, as you may recall, several months ago, Leanne Thomas, the director of acquisitions for USA Properties Funds, came down and spoke about a wonderful new project that's at the corner of Fremont Boulevard and Peralta, right near the Centerville station. And that site had been vacated, had been razed to the ground several years ago by a prior developer who went bankrupt. And that provided a wonderful opportunity for us because what had been entitled for that project for the prior developer had a lot of market rate townhomes, have very little mix of affordable housing, and it's a prime area because it's right next to the center, it's within a quarter mile. So I was so enthused about it, and Leanne had reached out to me because Taylor Johnson is the executive director of Tri-City Volunteers. His right-hand person is Leanne's father, and so through Taylor, she met me, and then I in turn introduced her to the group, and then we partnered up, and I was very honored to be asked to be part of their consulting team as an attorney, as a former council member, to know the entitlement process. So we met with various council members, met with staff, and what was happening on Tuesday night And I want to thank Fremont for everyone. I recused myself from this process because I wanted to have that separate from my role as the attorney for the applicant. But Fremont for everyone endorsed what was going on Tuesday night, which was called a NOFA. A NOFA is Notice of Funding Availability. When market rate developers build housing, they have the option, and most exercises, rather than building on-site affordable housing or some in lieu housing, they actually donate an impact fee into the housing trust fund. And because we've had a lot of development around the Warren Springs BART station, that pot grew to over 30 million that was to be allocable this year. And then suddenly, as Tuesday night came on board with the council to approve the funding, they found another 5 million. So that ended up being, and Lisa can talk about the other projects. So I think there were about 4 other projects that were then also in the running for funding, and they had allocated that 35 million among the various successful projects. USA Property Funds, our Centerville Station project, got $12.5 million. I think it's the largest single amount that I've ever seen for a project, and this is why. They have 2 phases of projects, and actually our ask was twice that amount because we wanted to phase both of them, but we're both phases. But it funds phase 1, which is 150 units in a 5-story building. And then phase 2 will be another 162 units that will be built independently, and we'll get separate sources of funding, maybe with the regional housing, affordable housing block passes. That may be a source of funds, other state funds, grants. But there'll be 312 units right in Centerville, activating that site right next to transit. It's a perfect location, 30 to 80% area median income. It meets all of our wonderful RENA targets on the front end of our 8-year cycle that we're working on the housing element. I am so excited because this is the kind of project that is the culmination of what Wiener's been doing at the state level and other progressive pro-housing developers of creating state standards for approving these projects. The density is higher than would have otherwise been allowed under our local zoning. The height requirement of a 5-story building is something that was not otherwise possible without state legislation. They tell you CAYIMBY has been working on that. We're supporting with Lobby Day. And the other thing that is really exciting is that although the funding was a public hearing item, it ended up going on consent because Tuesday night they had a full agenda with the referral item on the Gaza Israeli matter. It was packed to overflowing. So they put our matter on consent. We didn't even have to deliberate. But the project itself, historically, I was on the planning commission for 10 years, 2 years in the council. Projects like that would be required to go through planning commission and council, and you have all the neighbors coming out saying, no, 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 not my backyard. Because it's all an affordable housing project, there was a bill that Senator Wiener passed in the last legislative cycle we made more permanent, not completely permanent, called SB 330. And what SB 330 does is it takes a project where there's all affordable housing component and it is over the counter. You just deal with the planning department. You meet these criteria and standards that are, rigid, you bypass the public hearing requirement because we need housing, because Lilia was talking about, we've got this 40-year gap, and this is the way we begin making up the housing production. So yes, thank you, Lisa and Jennifer, allowing me to talk about this project, but it really folds into all of the other things that we're talking about. So, thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
It's the percentage of the affordable housing of the entire company.
100%.
Oh,
From 30% to 80%. So there's an allocation within that AMI.
Between 30 to 80%.
So they're all considered affordable.
Where is it?
Peralta Fremont Boulevard, it's where the old Round Table Pizza was, the old Sizzler, right next to Holy Spirit. And
right by Mojo's, baby.
Right by Mojo's on the other side of Peralta.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right by Amtrak. Yeah. It's a really good spot. I'm really glad that it got picked up. Lisa, you want to give us the update on BART?
Sure. Yes. So there's more details in our agenda that you can see, but actually we're going to pull that up on on the screen share rather than just vaguely referring to it. So we have do folks know about BART's transit-oriented development project that they BART has a program where they want more housing at BART stations. So they kind of focus on particular stations at a time that they think are good prospects because basically the city wants to be cooperative, I think is what it comes down to. And the cool news here is that downtown Fremont, let me see if I could even find it. Downtown Fremont moved up on the list.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
I don't know if I can find it. So yeah, they have sort of current pipeline, near term and midterm. So downtown Fremont moved to the near term. I think Warm Springs actually got bumped. So it's a little bit of an adjustment in both directions there. But as someone who lives near downtown, I'm happy to hear that we are gonna have a more near term investment in housing near the downtown Fremont BART station. So that's basically the update.
Is this funded by BART? Or why is it partially funded?
That's a good question, and I don't really know the answer to that. They're just sort of coordinating it. That's a very good question. We can look into that. I don't know. Yep. I'm sorry?
Do the BART people coordinate with the 2 stations in Santa Clara County? Also thinking about really BTA BART stations. But there's quite a bit of housing and quite a bit of discussion about. And of course, also extending the BART to downtown San Jose is quite controversial, but part of the plan. Building up a group much about that.
On the list.
Let's see. No, oh, they're not really talking about that. They're saying, oh yeah, so this is part of why we can build on Fremont because we now have Berryessa. We don't need all that parking at Fremont anymore because it's no longer the end of the line.
That's true.
Because people would drive from. Exactly, yeah. So I don't see Berryessa anywhere besides that. Let's see if Milpitas is here.
The one thing I would like to see though is to ensure or encourage ridership in suburbia is that there should be a transportation component, more shuttles, some other transportation that would feed to the station because there won't be parking. People won't be able to go unless they happen to live right next there, that or maybe take Uber or Lyft or something. But
yeah, last miles to
last time. Yeah, because we're underserved by AC Transit, but it would be nice as part of what they're doing to really amp up some way of getting ridership to the station.
Yeah, lines have been cut over the years. I remember back when I was in school, there was so many lines going back and forth Fremont and nowhere to multiple, and they cut them down only maybe a couple.
We had a short-lived attempt to have the bicycles that you could pick up. And,
oh yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we had COVID and we had liability, clutter, and just didn't.
Was there anything else to the BART update, Lisa?
No, that's it.
No. Okay. Well, great. Oh, all right. Get to the end here. Now we're gonna do open mic. Anybody that wants to say anything? Good. Vanessa, right? Yeah.
And if you don't mind,
You want to come up? You want to stay there?
if you go here.
Shameless plug here. Pass this around.
Please, shameless plug away.
Plug.
Oh, I don't know if it's the best viewing. Can everyone hear me or see me? Okay.
The microphone here.
Awesome. Oh, sorry. I'm new to that. I'm a little nervous. It's a big mic. So I'm here from Golden State Opportunity, folks. I'm on the distributed organizing team. I'm glad our California YIMBY folks are also describing that work, what distributed organizing looks like. I'm here to introduce and invite everyone to join our team right now as we let more Californians know about the California Earned Income Tax Credit, the California EITC. Is anyone familiar with the Earned Income Tax Credit, be it federal or statewide? Just a quick show of hands? A little bit? Okay. Well, what a lot of folks don't know is that it's a cashback tax credit for our low to moderate income folks. So our working families and people here in California.
but folks don't know about it. And what we're doing is letting everyone all across the state know how they can claim the Cal EITC. And of course, what we all learned and sought to expand since COVID is the child tax credit as well, and how much those two cashback tax credits have helped our communities alike. One of our very own, Lisa here, has actually joined us in the last couple of weeks. So I wanted definitely to visit our Fremont for Everyone and invite more folks to join us texting. I know I'll let Lisa tell you all about her experience. It's really fun, really simple, and really easy. All you have to do is join us from anywhere you all have a connection, phone or your computer, and text away. And it's just really awesome experience to help more folks alike. Yeah, Lisa, you just want to share a little bit about how it went for you?
I'll come up here by the mic. Yeah, it was really easy. They made it very easy. All I had to do was basically get into their system and then just like click constantly, click, 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 because what my job was, because this is the way these text banking things work. I think there's a law that you can't just like automatically send out all these texts to strangers. So instead, if you have a human do it, then you're allowed to do it. So our job as volunteers was just to send those first texts, and then the experts on their team were around to answer any questions if people replied with questions.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the really amazing thing is that you all, including Lisa, really helped us right now reach 1 million texts. And that's just a huge goal. And we're already nearing our 2 million texts statewide to Californians. And I really want all of you to be a part of that next leg. So if you haven't already, I think Lisa and David have my information, and we'll send you all how to join, how to learn more, all about our work at Golden State Opportunity. We're a nonprofit working to end poverty.
You're Vanessa.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's
yes, I was Rebecca.
No,
no,
I know. We've connected to
yes.
a lot of our Democratic orgs here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now I know who you are.
Yeah. He's like, now I know who you are, and that's me. But I just wanted to quickly drop that in there. I'll also send you all a mobilized link where you can join from anywhere. It's really fun, really easy, and I'm glad we had Lisa.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you, Vanessa.
All right. Thank you very much, Vanessa.
Thank you all.
Anybody else? Lisa.
I just want to say it's 7 o'clock now. So if anybody was thinking of calling into that Belmont meeting when it starts, you should feel free. I won't be offended if you piece out of here to go advocate for housing in a neighboring community. We thought, when we were like, oh, this is kind of an out of the blue ask, but the point that David made, and you can tell me if I'm getting this wrong, was that it's great to show solidarity with other groups who are aligned with us, because then if we need help in the future, we can ask them.
Exactly.
And, housing there is less housing that we need here, and vice versa, because we need to be building housing everywhere.
I agree. Anybody else? Anybody in the chat? Want to say something? Open mic, now's your chance. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Congratulations to the Centerville Station for the passing on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you, and thank you, Lisa, and you for standing up there for the affordable housing. You at least had a chance to speak on that issue, but I appreciate you being there for both. So thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, that's we have to continue to work on that, and again, it was just a difficult night to get a word in edgewise, but they heard it. I do have a question. How many of our council people? I know we have Teresa Cox, but who else has officially come on board to support that?
Good question.
Good question.
Let's turn this out here. Let me actually speak here.
I haven't heard back from my people.
Yeah, Teresa Cox is the only one I heard back from, but she wrote back right away and said, I've endorsed it. So that was pretty cool.
I see that. Is it an alphabetical question? You scroll past it. She's the only one that's listed on the website. Whether that's updated or not, I don't know. I
think there's a little bit of a lag.
Yeah.
So she did it a week or two ago when I asked her to. And then I think some people didn't get the ask yet, so they might not have gotten it yet.
Yeah, might be good to try again, being that it's been freshly, brought up on the city council on Tuesday, so they'll be fresh in their mind.
Yeah, and I put the link to in my written comments. So if they checked their packet the way they were supposed to, it should be easy for them to click to support.
Yeah, I emailed Desiree, she's mine, and I never heard back.
Okay.
At all. And one of my other ones, I could not find any contact.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I found one that goes to all the trustees of the loan. You know, like we have city council, they have trustees and I stuck it in the spreadsheet.
Oh, thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
And I guess we could also, like, this was just because it was opportunistic, but we could go to their meetings and use open public comment to ask them to support.
The city council or alone?
No,
We've done it at city council, but yeah, we could do Ohlone, we could do school board. You know, if they're not responding to our emails, we can show up on their doorstep.
That's right.
That's true.
Pardon?
Is this for the bond?
Yeah.
For the bond, yeah.
Yeah, so once Fremont for Everyone endorsed the bond, we've sort of embarked on this project to share the load, each of us asking a few people to ask our electeds to support it. Because they're doing this campaign to have, you know, a list of people who have publicly endorsed.
Yeah, so I think Teresa Cox actually attended the meeting from Alameda County, and also Raj Salwan. I don't remember if anybody else was there, you know, for our district a presentation, but yeah, I know that Raj had some questions. They were pertinent questions. You know, so we'll find out, you know, he knows the right questions, but so Teresa Cox so far is the only one. Yeah, we just got to keep going on that. You know, we need that money in. And what, that's $100 a year, basically, is that right, David?
For $100,000.
No.
For a million, yeah.
For millions. So what's the 1.2 million, you know, for most of our housing?
Yes, it's a $10 a month.
$10 a month. So $10 a month, you know, it's really, you know, we need to break it down into a smaller bits so that people can appreciate that. And that's for 10 years. Is that right?
So,
well, it's just the total amount of money. Or, oh, you're saying how much it'll increase your price for the bond.
Right.
Saying the bond will be paid off.
paid off in 10 years. Or it's a 10
Is that
year.
true, or is it a 30-year bond? We haven't seen the exact language yet, but I don't know what's typical.
It should be in the legislative text, whatever it is, if it's drafted. I don't know if it has.
That language I don't think has been released publicly yet. It's still being negotiated. Actually, to that point, if folks are into going to San Francisco and going to public meetings in the middle of the day on weekdays, there are some upcoming meetings related to this where they're going to be basically the BAFA itself and ABAG, I think those two are the main ones, are kind of negotiating the final details and in order to get it onto the ballot. And the campaign can definitely use support of people coming and making public comments, basically saying, you know, yes, keep the train rolling forward, because
Is there a hybrid alternative where you have to be in person?
there is a hybrid alternative. That's a good point. Yeah, they encourage in person, but if you can't make it to San Francisco, you can call in. Yeah, it's fun to be there. Like, they did a little happy hour and I got to meet other organizers. So after the So yeah, are any of you interested in getting involved with that? Because I can definitely put you in touch with the people who would send out the info about it. Happy hour?
Yeah.
I like the way you think.
Yeah, that's good. You just went ahead to the happy hour.
Well, specifically, like, speaking up in favor of the housing bond, and because I think, like, the main risk right now is if they kind of, I think everybody wants it enough, this won't really happen, but if they
oh, sorry.
I have
That's it. I take my secret hat back. Just kidding.
rather than saying, is anybody interested? Let's just put it, if we endorse something and there's things related, just put it on this discussion page on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll find out.
Definitely. When are these meetings again?
they're at random times on weekdays. Let me see if I can find them on there.
Doing anything right now?
For the communications department, I mean, go ahead and put a martini with an olive there.
Right.
We'll be good.
I cannot guarantee happy hours at the subsequent meetings. I can only have.
Lisa, if there's no happy hour, Lisa's
That's
gonna.
right. Lisa's head.
Oh, y'all are
Silver
trouble.
fire.
Also for happy leads us to affordable housing and happy hours.
Yeah.
Right. And affordable happy hour.
Affordable happy hour.
Affordable happy hour. That's a dry martini, not shaken?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the big ones that's coming up is April 18th at noon. There's an ABAG executive board meeting. And I don't know exactly what it is that they're gonna have as the agenda item, but it's gonna be related to the bond. And then another one's on May 22nd, the BAFA board. And then the BAFA board's final action will be on June 26th. So, so it's kind of like one per month over the next couple of months. And
I have my calendar up, so I don't know.
okay, well, I know you're good at following Facebook, so I like the suggestion. I'll take the action item to put that on Facebook after this.
Yeah, so whether it's a Facebook event or an email event, or
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, we
Facebook
could
event.
share it, but I think you want to get them involved, right?
Great, yeah.
So,
This is the wisdom of the crowd. I would not have even thought to make an event. I totally should.
I'll have a question for Gina after we're finished with that.
Jenna or Gina?
Yeah.
I think, is that Jenna, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you said Gina, so I got confused.
Oh, sorry.
Just kidding.
Because our auditory is difficult, for some of the speakers here on Zoom. I didn't really get to hear about the SV Catalyst and when that is. Is this an on-site meeting or Zoom meeting? What is it?
It's Zoom, right?
It's Zoom.
Yeah. And it's gonna be next Wednesday at 6:30.
Okay.
On 7.
Not 7. No.
And you'll be
Thank you for
posting that
reminding
on
me, Dave.
Facebook
You'll
too,
post
right?
it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. You want to say something?
well, it's just that, if anybody knows of anybody that's looking for a Section 8, they just opened up the lottery. And for Section 8, they're calling like affordable homes in the Section 8, all one now. And so they're accepting applications in April. So if you know of anybody, let me know. I didn't bring the piece of paper with me. They're more for families. I mean, if you're a couple, you can probably apply for, but it's not really for singles. So it's based on I think as a single, not more than $50,000
It's
a
the
year.
federally administered program.
Huh?
It's the federally administered program. So I don't know if it's true, but the standards are, because they're national, they really don't take into account affordability in California. So it's very income restrictive here.
Yeah, but it's I think it's out of Hayward that they're doing the application process. So if you need help with applications, they'll help you.
Excellent. Thank you.
So I don't know. You might know somebody that could benefit from it.
But again, please use you're free to have us approve a site and put that on the Facebook discussion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anybody in the chat?
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get the location of the HUD things, so if that can get into the chat, that would be great.
Sorry, what HUD thing?
What Marilyn brought up, we're having difficulty here on Facebook hearing the speakers.
Gotcha.
So where is the HUD?
Oh, she said that it's in Hayward, right?
Hayward.
I'll put it in the Facebook group.
I think it's the Housing Authority of Alameda County.
Oh, HACA?
HACA.net, yes.
Oh, HACA. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Well, it looks like that's it. Thank you, everybody, so much for
Good
joining.
meeting.
And Lilia, thank you again so much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to know that you're one of us. All right.
Well, LA Lilia.
Yeah, oh. All right. I give you permission now to leave. You're more than welcome to go.
Thank you.
There's pizza if you want to bring it home. You're more than welcome to bring it as well. See you next month.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.